This is magnificent, isn't it?
Truly.
So, hello, first of all.
Yeah.
Lovely to sit here with you and learn from you. I've been watching you on YouTube mostly. I was lucky enough to come and see you in California twice, and it was wonderful. And just last, I think it was October, I was at work, and I was looking at your schedule on your website to see, if you were going to be anywhere that I could fly over to the States and come and see you. And I kind of forgot about that, and I thought I'd check back later because there was nothing there at the time. And later in the day, I was having a conversation with somebody at work, and they had just come back from Amsterdam. And they said how beautiful it was there, you must go and visit. And I had never been here before. So I said, oh yeah, no, I'll think about that, and it sounds like a good plan, etc., etc. Well, 2 hours later, I get your email saying that you're going to be in Amsterdam.
That's what we like to call the setup. That's your inner being knowing what you want and giving you an impulse, an impulse, an impulse, an impulse, an impulse, an impulse, an impulse. That's how the unfolding happens, isn't it? Yeah. And if you miss that way, it's another. Humans have this saying, they're afraid that they're going to miss their ship, that they'll get to the dock and their ship has already sailed. And we say, there's another and another and another and another and another and another. Your inner being never lets loose of knowing what you desire and never stops beaming a signal of how to get you there. And sometimes you're receptive and sometimes you're not. But if your desire is steady, eventually something will come. And in your case, it comes quickly, often, doesn't it?
It does, but that's what leads me to my question, because...
We were trying to get out ahead of that.
Oh, sorry. The feeling when I got the email through, it was like I'd rolled the dice and won the game, but I didn't know I was playing. And what I want to do is I want to be...
What do you mean? That sounded interesting, but what do you mean?
It was like I'd gotten what I wanted, but I didn't realize that that's how it was going to come together. So I'd kind of filled in the grid without realizing I was filling in the grid just by having a conversation. It was just very natural. I wasn't expecting anything. It was nonchalant.
So are you suggesting that your intentions were already in place? You'd done step one, and that Source had already lined all the cooperative components up, and that you were in the receiving mode. And what's surprising you is you kept thinking, most people do too, you keep thinking that you have to be like a dog on a bone. You have to get hold of an idea and you have to rein it in. You have to wrestle it to the ground and kill it. And it's just kind of shocking when you're just handed whatever information you need.
Exactly. What I find that I often do is if I really want something, I will keep checking in with it. Oh, is it coming? And I want to know how to relax enough.
We are happy that you use the word you want to relax, because it lets us know that you're feeling tension about it. We call it trying too hard. But what it is, it's what makes humans take the idea of being a deliberate creator to a place where it doesn't work for them. When you think that you've got to think really hard to bring things into being, it is an indication that you still don't quite get it, that step one and step three are different steps, and that there's a whole provider in between step one and step three. You ask, Source lines it all up, the law of attraction gathers the cooperative components, and then you let it in. And if you stay after it in that sort of efforting, hard-working, needing to focus it into place, can you feel how what's going on? You said you like the release or the relief when it stops. That tension is your indicator that you are focused upon something that you want from a perspective that either it is difficult or it is not probable, or that you can't do it at all. Can you feel that messy vibration in the mix? So just having knowledge of how the laws of the universe work, just knowing that you've done the work. Esther just recently, now she's been listening to us for a long time, and she just recently found the words, we spoke them yesterday, but we really want you to hear them. Because we've been talking about getting out ahead of it, getting out ahead of it. Don't wait until you feel tension about something. Get out ahead of it by feeling as good as you can feel as early in the day. We'll talk more about that as we move forward here today, about how to get out ahead of it. But just recently, Esther found the words. She was segment intending, which means it's a new segment, which means I'm going to do something different in this segment than I've been doing in the segment that is before this segment that I'm moving into. My intentions vary slightly. It's a new segment when the phone rings, and a new segment when you place a call. It's a new segment when you get into a vehicle. It's a new segment when somebody else joins you at the dinner table. Lots of new segments. And your intentions do change with every segment. Every time a new person enters your atmosphere, the vibrational dynamic shift. And if you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then you're ready for the impulse that will serve you and them in the best way. But if you are not deliberate about it, if you are sloppy in your thinking, then not so much. So these words make people like you work too hard at all of this. Like, you've got to think. And what we want to help you to see is we want you to feel. We want you to feel your way into your alignment and then trust the process. So the words that Esther found in this segment, that she's sitting with the intention, she used to call it meditating. Now she calls it daydreaming, just recently, for fun. Esther says, I'm going to relax and enjoy this chair. And I'm going to feel the ease of my world. She uses different words every time. These are not words that she's memorized. They're just words that reflect what she's reaching for in this segment. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to relax, and I'm going to isolate a sound in the room. Because that sound may be a fan, maybe the air conditioner, it might be something coming from the refrigerator. It depends, lots of different places. Sometimes it's the hum of the airplane. Sometimes she gets an app out and plays Central Air off of an app, or airliner white noise. So I'm going to isolate a sound, and in doing so, my thoughts are going to subside. They're going to slow way down. It's my intention to allow my resistance to just dissolve, if there is any. Just not going to think anything except about this sound. And then I know that my vibration will rise. She's speaking this, actually writing it. And I will come into the vibrational alignment with my source energy. And it is my intention to just relax in that and hear the words and watch the movie if there is one. Not create a movie, not solve a problem, not fix something that is broken, not reconcile a relationship, not any of that stuff that causes you to think and therefore introduce resistance. This is a step 3 moment. This is the moment when you relax and allow the work that you've already done to be realized by you. So just knowing what this moment is. In other words, step 1, you don't have to plan for step 1. Step 1 will just come to you. Sometimes it feels like it's coming at you. Life just delivers anything that you've got going on in your vibration. If you've got something going on in your vibration and you don't know about it and you don't do something about soothing it, don't worry, it will get bigger. And as it does, a wonderful thing happens. As contrast happens, you launch rockets of desire. And when you launch rockets of desire, you've put in a personal request to your inner being, who gets on it right away. As quickly as you are asking the question or asking for a solution or asking for more of anything, the setup already begins. The cooperative components already are beginning to be gathered. Humans, you keep wanting to prove your worthiness. You've been trained by others. You've got to work hard. You've got to offer effort. That's not true. The contrast is the effort. Dealing with the contrast is causing you to launch the rockets. That's where all of the asking happens, you see. What we're asking you to do is focus your feeling rather than your thoughts during that step 3 moment. So now let us hear from you.
What would you like to hear?
We want to hear a situation that caused you to formulate this question to us. What kinds of things are happening that make you want to have this conversation?
It's more about what kinds of things aren't happening.
All right.
And it could be anything, and it changes from day to day, but it could be little things that I want to happen. And like I say, I'll keep checking back. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? I know it's coming because I believe in the law of attraction, so it's got to be happening, and I've got it all going on in my vortex, but it's not here yet, so where is it? And
all right. Perfectly said. So let us add more words to your co-creating at its worst.
Okay.
We'll add a few more words to that in a little bit of a sarcastic way, but we really want to help you to feel this point. So where is this that I have been asking for that I'm keeping from coming in my very awareness that it is not coming? Why will this thing that I keep looking at the absence of not show up in my experience? I found vibrational alignment with the absence of it. I wonder why it doesn't come to me. And now, maybe if I try harder, maybe if I think harder about this thing that isn't coming, that I will defy the law of attraction and it will suddenly start coming to me, even though every vibration of my being is working in opposition to what I'm wanting. How's that? How's that? And so, this is all really good conversation, isn't it? Because you're coming to understand that your feeling is your indicator. When you feel frustration, you know that you're on the wrong end of the stick. When you feel some exhilaration, then you know that you're on the right end of the stick. But here's the thing. We really like having this conversation with you. As you've been thinking about this, you have developed some patterns of momentum. And now you're wanting to use this knowledge that you hold about the law of attraction to make some changes in that pattern. But the law of attraction, even though it is your best friend because it always delivers to you exactly what you're offering vibrationally, it is stubborn and it will not give you something different than you're offering. And so when you acknowledge that it's not going to give you something different than you're offering vibrationally, and you begin to notice that when you are not letting it in, you feel these negative emotions, and that when you are beginning to let it in, you feel positive emotions, then you've got a methodology that will work for you. But what's tripping you up is such a good thing to acknowledge. We're just reeling you all into this understanding because you're all doing it. You are so dependent on what you see and what you observe, and the majority of your vibration is about that. And you don't want to believe it until you see it. And that's why you keep looking for the evidence of it. And that is really tripping you up, because when you look for evidence that you're not tuned to see, you're not going to see it. And so when you don't see the evidence that you think you need to see in order for your vibration to shift, you keep holding yourself in a holding pattern where it can't get in. So the more you want it, the more you look, the more you look, the more you don't see, the more you don't see, the more you want it, the more you want it, the more you look and don't see, the more you don't let it in, the more you don't let it in, the more you ask for it, the more you ask for it, the more you begin to attract. The more you begin to attract, the more you want it, the more you want it, you begin to look for it, the more you look for it, the more you don't let it in, until you get this strong tug of war going on within you. You could break that cycle very easily by understanding just this one very easy to understand thing. What you want to do for just a little while is reach for the awesome pleasure of non-resisted thought, not the power to overcome the adversity, not the power to make something that isn't coming come, not the power to turn it around, not the power to solve the problem. You want the pleasure of the thought. Can you feel the difference? The pleasure of the thought. You want the release. You want the pleasure of the thought. You want the knowing that it's coming. You want the acknowledgement of your well-being. Rather than proving your worthiness through your accomplishment, you want to just feel worthy as one who doesn't need to accomplish in order to know your value. And then the abundance just reigns in. As long as you're trying to justify it or prove it, then you're trying too hard and you're offering that very vibration that is the resistance that is holding it away. This conversation is what's going on with almost everybody. If there's something that you've been wanting and it has not been coming, if it's been stubborn in coming, it's for one reason and one reason only. You're looking for it to come rather than looking for a feeling of calm which will let it come. You're looking for it instead of calm. You're looking for it instead of happy, you see. So Here are some ways around that. So picture a pile of sticks, and each stick represents something that you want, and so we'll call one prosperity or money, and we'll call one love and relationships, and we'll call one building your empire, and we'll call one the new vehicle. It doesn't matter. You've got lots of sticks and lots of labels on lots of sticks. And let's say that almost all of these sticks